Okay, I just wanted to go ahead and do a quick update video on how cards fit in this box sleeved. This is the expansions box. And as I showed you how to pack it in the last video, I thought it was important to kind of go over how everything fits when it's actually sleeved, right? Because you have the packing sheet that shows everything. But honestly, after some playing with it, that doesn't really work. For example, this middle pocket, these tabs make it almost like impossible to fit a sleeved card in there flat. There's just room there, and that really makes me uncomfortable because I don't want my cards to get all bent up. And then these pockets here are shallower than the ones up here, which make it difficult to fit full stacks in comfortably. So like I had to spend some time thinking about how to best do this. And I'm going to show you guys what I came up with. And then, of course, anything you've thought about, feel free to share it. The news cards fit just fine. There's not enough of them there to make a difference. I might also end up putting this 7 Red Tongs Dragon cards here just because they don't fit in the game tray as comfortably as I want. And honestly, I'd rather they not get bent up. But those fit just fine. So in this center slot where we're having a problem, unsleeved cards fit fine. So what I ended up doing to kind of eat that gap at the bottom where there's a problem is taking the remainder of these G-Men cards that are in a different language, and I'm just putting them down there. They fit fine. And then over the top of that, because sleeved, there is not enough cards to eat up a full top slot. Taking about this much of the night deck, leaving that top card that explains it, and those are going right over the top. These fit comfortably. There's no issue there. And they're still somewhat easy to get out. My biggest problem with this expansion tray is that it's actually really hard to get into these slots. You end up kind of going from the side and pushing and getting as much out as you can. Unlike the original box, where these were better designed, they're just struggling here. So I put the night deck on top of the other G-Men cards, and then I'm going to go ahead and top that with the various enforcer cards like that. And when you straighten them out, they fit. There's a nice little room at the top there. So that's tray 1. Up over here, I am going to put the Street Gang deck because it's huge when it's sleeved. And those fit in there nice and leave a little bit of room. And then in this slot over here, I'm going to put the remainder of the night deck. Those fit great right there. A little bit of room on the top, but enough, I'm comfortable with that. Bottom slot over here, I am going to put the new jobs that are Bloody Business specific. And you might say, well, why am I not mixing those in to the core box? Because even though they're marked as Bloody Business with a little, see if I can show you, a little BB in the corner on any Bloody Business cards, it's just, I don't want to have to sort them every time. I want to be able to pull these out and use them if I want to play the Bloody Business expansion. On top of that, I'm putting the the new associates from Bloody Business. Some of those could get mixed into the core box without an issue, but honestly, again, just keep it all where it goes. No problem. That fits. There's a little bit of room there. It's more comfortable than it was. And then in this final slot, I'm going to start with the candidate cards. Boom. And then I'm going to put the G-Men cards on top, and I'm going to top those off with the new raids. And again, the reason I'm not putting these in the core box is because some of them are Bloody Business specific, and I just don't want to have to sort them every time. So those go in. That is probably the tallest stack, but still a little bit of room there. Now nothing's moving. Everything fits. And it looks all right. And I know that, if I want to play with the night deck, that's under here. Enforces expansion on top, easier to get to for the core game. Street Gangs, that's the only spot I found that they all fit in, one of those two. Rest of the night deck, because it's huge when it's sleeved. And then you have the Bloody Business specific jobs and associates here. And you have the raids, the G-Men, and the election cards here. Some of the extra cards could go spread out across the top, but I like to keep them nice and neat together. And that is how we're packing the bottom of this box for now. It might change over time, but that's what I'm doing. One final update regarding the Errata deck that came with this game. So you got this pack of cards in your box if you backed this game. It comes with 5 cards like these. as well as in multiple languages, as well as a whole stack of ones in German. I did reach out to Redzen, and they were able to confirm these 5 gang war, car bombing, alderman, opium den owner, and the new enforcer card are the only ones in English that are needed for the English base game. The rest were based on each language, what each needed. German just had the most that they needed to fix. And these 5 are actually the old cards. The new ones are already in my base game. So if you're switching them out and you're reading them, there's some pretty cool changes, but that's what's going on with the Errata deck.